Four weeks ago, I was laid off. No income, no plan B, just a family. A wife, 4 kids, and God, whom I've chosen to completely trust through this entire situation. And I'll be honest with you, trusting, being patient, being silent, being still has been difficult. But I also want to show you something. And I'll show you this while I'm putting together a new patio set for our back patio. My wife had bought this patio set right before I got laid off. I told her don't return it, don't worry about it. We've been wanting to fix up our back patio for a while. Adding these seats is gonna be awesome. And we just finished painting the back side of the house and the patio set's ready to be put up. So let's get into that while we talk about today's video. This past week has been a blessing. I was able to take my family, kids and wife, to the zoo with some friends, and that was a real blessing. That was really fun, obviously for the kids. Left my knife inside, so I'm using a screwdriver. And this was awesome to do because I didn't need to request any time off. There was no PTO, no permission needed. We just went, and standing there watching my kids run free, play, enjoy their day, no cares in the world. That's just something I haven't been able to enjoy in some time because of work. And that's something that I'm really building towards, something that I'm striving for. This is the life that I believe God wants for me and has for me. But getting there, well, there's a story to it. And that's what the video is about. So it's week 4, 1 month since being laid off. Let's get into it. Crap, now I really need a knife. I don't know why the light turned on. Just realized I didn't have my mic on either, but I'm not gonna re-record all of that. So deal with it, I guess. Ended up using this handsaw to do the trick. A bit aggressive, but it got the job done. So here's a quick catch up if you're new here. Almost 2 years ago, I took a job that I genuinely enjoyed. All right, how are we gonna get this out? This ain't easy. It ain't easy being cheesy. So I was working from home, the comfort of my home office / study. I was comfortable and what I thought was stable. A job a lot of people would have been grateful for, and I definitely was. There we go, we got it. It's a little more difficult than I thought, but let's just go ahead and make this quick. And it's out. Was that a cool transition? Did that work? Let me know in the comments. But 4 weeks ago, I was gone from the company. Got laid off due to a company restructuring. Why would they put a knot on this? And since that day, since February 27th, 2026, I've been sitting with this since day 1. No, not this. These 3 questions that I bring to God every single week. What do I want to do? What is the right move? And how can I best serve Him, God? Now, these aren't just career questions. They are prayer questions. And every week I come back to them and I lay them at the feet of God. And every week it does seem like He gives me a little bit of light to see the path. Not the entire thing, but just enough. And here's how I've been spending this past month, how I'm expecting to spend this next chapter of my life as of now. I started a 60-day challenge. 5 short videos every day on across my social platforms, going live at least 1 hour every day. Doing that on Twitch now. I started on TikTok, but there's a story to that. Spending 1 hour learning something new or building upon skills that I already have, and doing what I'm doing now, which is posting 1 long form video every week, at least 1. Now, the goal isn't just to gain followers. The goal is to find work I'm actually called to, or to build something of my own. So I never have to depend on someone else's decision, some other company's decision, over my family's future again. And this week, I was busy tilling my yard, painting the outside of my house, like I mentioned earlier. Obviously took my family to the zoo, as you saw, and there's an update with the project that I've been building, TrueWork, that I'm excited to tell you about. All right, 1 down, 3 more to go. Well, at least for this box. But let's just do the trick that we did earlier. And done. But I gotta take a break because I got family coming over. I already had my parents over. Your boy is also making some barbacoa, but you have to go follow me on my other social platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube Shorts, so you can see the glamorous reveal. It's for my cousins. They're visiting from out of town, so your boy may be unemployed, but he stays busy. But we'll get back into this story later. That yard work I was doing is actually where God dropped an idea in my head, believe it or not. Out in the dirt, no screens, no distractions, just work, quiet, and prayer time with God. An idea for an AI-powered tool called TrueWork. And this tool helps people find work that they actually want to do. It's based on who they are, their passions, their purpose, not just a resume. And this week, real people were using it and giving me tons of feedback. And we'll get there. But first, I want to talk about what these past 4 weeks actually felt like, because I don't think enough people are honest about it. Four weeks. I want to stop and mark that because it isn't nothing. 4 weeks ago, I had a paycheck, a routine, I had a login. And then 4 weeks later, those things don't exist anymore. And I honestly think most people going through something like this only really show you week 1, the raw shock, or the success story once it's all figured out. But nobody shows you week 2, 3, or 4. So here it is, my version, the real version. Some mornings I wake up and I feel it, that thing that can only be described as peace. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like God is building something and I can almost see it. And then there's other mornings and the thoughts that I have aren't as positive. What are you doing? You have 4 kids, you have a family, you have a wife who's walking every single step of this journey with you. And I am grateful for her and thankful to God for her every single day. Happened a couple times this week where I just questioned everything. And I want to bring up something that I said last week in last week's video. I am totally and 100% without question depending on God. No safety net, no paycheck that's coming in on Friday. Just complete and 100% faith in God. And not the kind of faith that we talk about on Sundays or that we post on Facebook or social media. I'm talking about the kind of faith that's real. Proverbs 3:5 says to not lean on your own understanding, but to trust in the Lord your God with all your heart. And I've read that verse multiple times. It's a very popular verse, but I don't think I've ever actually lived it the way I'm living it right now in this season of my life. Maybe the right thing to do is just to settle for a job, get the job that I've always done, get back into customer support. But I think God is doing something different with my life. I think he got me laid off for a reason. God is providing. I just need to stay obedient and trust in him and keep on building, keep doing what I'm doing. It's not like I'm not doing anything. I'm not sitting at home playing video games all day. I'm building up my brand. I'm building up my social media presence. I'm building up TrueWork. I'm choosing to have faith in God, knowing that he knows exactly what he's doing. Every morning, I choose to trust in God. And it's not because it's easy, but it is because he is faithful to me and he's proven it time and time again. I've got a family. I've got 4 kids. I feel that weight heavily, but I bring it to God every single day. My morning devotionals, that's my time that I get to spend with God in prayer and reading his word, and where a lot of the weight, a lot of the pressure is just lifted off of me. And honestly, here's what I've started to notice. When you have nothing to fall back on, you really have no choice but to move forward. When your own understanding runs out, you have no choice but to trust his understanding. And there's a real kind of peace that comes with that. Philippians 4:7 talks about a peace that surpasses our own understanding. And that's Paul writing that while he's in prison for believing and preaching Jesus. How much more peace can I have? A man who just lost his job and is in no way being persecuted, definitely not imprisoned. I'm experiencing that peace that surpasses my own understanding and probably your own understanding. In the middle of this uncertainty, in the middle of not knowing, this peace is real and he's bringing me joy. And that's what this week looked like on the outside. Tilling, painting, working with my hands, moving even without all the answers. Because I've learned something these past 4 weeks. God doesn't always give you the whole map. He gives you the next step. And obedience is taking it. And then I took my family to the zoo. God met me there too, because I looked at every animal around there at the zoo and it made me think of something. Every single one of those animals was made for something specific. The cheetah for speed, the eagle for their height, fish that live in the depths of the water with no light. Perfectly designed for most things that can't survive in those environments. None of them are confused about what they are. None of them are doubting their design. And I believe that the same God that designed them designed me with specific gifts, with specific wiring, a specific calling. Now, Jeremiah 29:11 is a misquoted text a lot of times, but I think we can still gain a lot of knowledge from it. I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope in the future. Now, the context of that is he's speaking to the Israelites who were banished from their homeland. They were in exile, but it can be practically applied to us as well. God knows the plan, even if I don't. And that question I keep asking myself, what am I supposed to do? What's the right move? What am I built for? Standing there watching my kids be completely free, watching my wife smile and enjoy her day, the question felt less like a weight and more like a promise. All right, so I want to tell you what happened this week, because I believe that God showed up in something. And it might look small from the outside, but it felt like everything on the inside. TrueWork got its first real users and feedback. Not just me testing it and not just friends doing me a favor. Real people who found it, tried it, and came back to me with feedback. And I want to tell you what that moment felt like. I thought I'd feel validated, proud, like, see, this is what I'm working on. And I felt some of that for sure. But mostly I felt something quicker, something almost reverent. Like, God, you made this happen. The idea he dropped in my head while I was in the dirt, literally in the dirt, just took its first real breath. And I thought about what that means. That the very thing born out of my misfortune, if you want to call it that, out of my own frustration, especially with the job market that never asked who I was becoming or who I wanted to be, is actually helping someone else figure out the exact same thing. And this is not a coincidence. This is not just good timing. This is God working. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purpose. All things, the layout, the uncertainty, the dirt, the 10 years in a job position that I never truly wanted, that I really never fully chose. All of it is working together for something. And it's silly to think that I could have done that. I could have designed that. To see that all of the feedback that I received is nothing but positive feedback. Things like it's user-friendly. It's very effective at choosing, matching the jobs that people are looking for. And here's what matters most about the feedback that I received. TrueWork exists because I needed it. Because I sat on a job board seeing the same exact customer support roles over and over, feeling like the system had no interest in me, had no interest in who God was shaping me to become. I built it because I was frustrated. And God took that frustration and turned it into a tool that my hope is and my prayer is will help someone in the future going through the exact same thing that I am, helping them find their way. That's God working all things for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purpose. And I'm going back to just seeing my family at the zoo again, watching my family with no schedule and nowhere to be. That's what I'm building toward. Not just financial freedom, but the freedom to be fully present with my wife and each of my 4 kids, at my church with my community, where God has called me and where I can devote myself to him and serve him. No ceiling on that, no PTO requests, just availability. That's the life I think God is leading me towards. And this week, for probably the first time in these past 4 weeks, I'm actually seeing it come to fruition. All right, the patio set's done, but we got to get it organized. Guys, I think this looks fantastic, honestly. I love it. But here's where I land at the end of week 4. The 3 questions are still very much open. What do I want to do? I feel like I'm getting closer every single week. Something I build, something that helps people, and something that gives me the freedom to be fully present with my family and fully available for whatever God calls me to do. What is the right move? It's still uncertain, but I'm moving anyway because I've stopped waiting for full clarity before I take the next step. God usually doesn't work that way. He lights the path one step at a time. And my job is to take that next step in faith. Where can I best serve God? Right here, in the open. Being honest about the struggles that I have, honest about the fear, and showing what it actually looks like to trust Him when that comfortability is gone and the right thing, the correct decision, isn't yet clear. Because I honestly think someone needs to see that, and maybe you're watching the video right now in their own version of my week 4, wondering if their faith is enough. And believe me, it is. God is. I still don't know how this chapter ends because it's still being written. But I know God doesn't waste anything. Not the 10 years in customer support, not my layoff, not the dirt that I tilled in my yard, not the paint that I spread over my house, not the Saturday at the zoo. Not a single day of these past 4 weeks has been wasted. He works all things for the good of those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. I'm standing on that. It's been one of my favorite verses ever since I first became a Christian. Not because my circumstances are good right now, but because God is good. And He's good all the time. And despite what I'm going through, despite my uncertainties, despite my shortcomings, God's name will be glorified through whatever this becomes. That part was never in question. Week 5 is coming up, so make sure you come back. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Follow me across my social platforms. Let's see how this story unfolds in the next chapter. See you guys next time.